Hey traders, welcome back to my channel. Today we are looking at the Asian range breakout. So I did a post on this earlier today and I kind of just want to follow up on it and elaborate a little bit, but it's not going to be like a complex video or anything like that. It's more just a quick tip for you guys. I'm going to show you something pretty cool here in TradingView, and yeah, not going to waste any of your time today. We're going to get right into it. However, if you would please subscribe to my channel, that helps me a lot. It lets me know you want me to keep making these videos, and let me know what kind of videos you want to see. I do read all of my comments here on YouTube. So yeah, getting into like the actual Asian session, the first thing I wanted to start off by doing, I am on the US yen chart, by the way, the USD yen. And I want you guys to take note of this. So when you're looking for a particular session, make sure that you're in the right time zone. I know that seems, I just kind of circled it there on mine. It seems pretty obvious, but a lot of people miss this step, and that's going to really mess you up. So make sure this is, TradingView's in your time zone. So the standard way to find like the Asian range is just to obviously look at the candlestick, use the crosshair, find the time, and then kind of box in whatever area. So like if I were using, looking at today, we could go back and say, all right, I don't know when the Asian session actually was here on this chart, but for instance, you could say, okay, here was my Asian session, right? So that's one way to do it. If you want to like go through and calculate that and count candles and look at the time, you can definitely do that. But if you're lazy like me, there is a quick trick to it. So you can go into indicators here on TradingView, and I have it favorited. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to. It's the Asia session bar color. So yeah, feel free to take a screenshot of this, but that's what it's called. And when you plot it, you might want to favorite that one because it's a little bit long. When you plot it, your Asia candles are going to be blue. Now, obviously, we're on the 4 hours, so that box I did was way off, but it was over here, which I did know that. Anyway, so you can actually make these candle colors. These are indicating which bars are inside the Asian zone or the Asian period. If you want to go into settings, you can change this color so you can make it a little bit easier to see, maybe something like green or orange, whatever you want to do. I thought the blue actually looked fine, so I'm going to keep it like that. But yeah, you can change it to be whatever you want. So when looking at the Asian breakout, what you're usually going to do is a lot of people use this scalping, and it's basically going to give you an idea of where price is going to go. So going down to, because if we're scalping, we're not normally looking at the 4 hour in terms of entry. So looking at the 15-minute, we can just use this to box in the Asian session. So we can either take horizontal line, or you can take a rectangle tool, which is actually what I'm going to do, and go from the highest wick point, there we go, to the lowest. And it doesn't really matter how long your box is, because we just want to really look at these two levels, right? So now that we have that, and likely what I would do actually is put in that horizontal line. This is going to be a little bit better. Let's just do that. You can use the rectangle as well, but I think this is going to be a bit more clear. Let's put this in. There we go. And I'm going to just delete this guy. But this is the area we're looking at, okay? And so often when we get a break of this range, and of course, this is not all the time, you're going to get an indication of where the market really wants to go, because a lot of pairs just aren't doing much during that session. And so here, for instance, we can see we had a break below. Now, how you would enter these trades, and let me just get rid of these EMAs as well. I'll keep the 50 though, and I'll show you why in a second. When you're entering these trades, like again, you're really going to just be entering based on your overall strategy. So if I were to enter this, I will talk about how I would do this. So I would wait for, first of all, I would look at structure on the higher time frame. So that's where I would start, just to make sure that we're kind of in line with the current trend. So on the 4-hour, we can clearly see where we've been in a bearish overall trend here. Then going back down to our 15-minute, we can say, okay, we did get a break below. That's in line with what we're seeing. And you can enter at the breakout. Now, this hasn't really quite played out yet. However, the reason I left this 50 EMA is because often I'll use this as a rough estimate in terms of where I'm going to place my stop. Okay, so I'd place my stop above that. So it would be pretty close to hitting the area I would be exiting the trade. However, again, it just depends on your risk reward, whether or not you might have trailed stop loss, things like that. So I'm not really getting into the whole technique. This video is more about the actual range, how to find it, and that little tip I had for you in terms of this indicator. Another example we can look for, so I'm using UJ because this pair is obviously going to work really well considering it's such a volatile pair. It tends to move a lot and trend really strongly. Same with like US 30 or gold. Those are great pairs to use here, but let's look for an example where it actually, okay, I didn't have to go back this far, but let's look at this area here. So here, I'm just going to box in that range again. So remember, all of these candles that are blue are happening within the Asian period. And next thing I'm going to look for is a actual break of the zone that we've created, which would be here. And then you can either place your stop loss above the 50 EMA. So in this case, price is so close to it, you're going to want to use these wicks. And then, just ride down using whichever method you want to use. This is more of a day trading strategy, obviously, than scalping. If you're scalping, you're probably going to want to be on the lower time frames, even the 3-minute, 1-minute. But it just depends on, again, your style. But that's the basic gist of it. The other thing you can do, if you want a little bit wider of a stop loss, you can set, you can plot your 200 EMA and use that. So let's just plot that one and change it. And you can use this again as a rough guideline as to where you want to place your stop. So it all just really depends on your strategy. Often when I'm scalping, I like to move my stop loss into profit to trail my stop loss. I do have a whole video on that one. But that's pretty much all I wanted to get into today. It was more just to highlight how you can find entry using this and this indicator that I've found that makes it a lot easier. So yeah, that's everything for this video. Hopefully you guys liked this short and sweet style, and I'll see you in the next one.